Howdy underlings, minions, and goons. With the release of the RG Rotate, we have a lot of first-time buyers of emulation handhelds asking about paper or plastic. Sorry, I mean plastic or metal shells. If you didn't know already, the RG Rotate has a choice of plastic or metal shells, and there is no difference between the two other than the shell type. I think this is the first time Ambernick has offered us a choice of the two. So let's break down the advantages and disadvantages of each, and see if we can help you decide whether you want to go with the plastic shell or metal one. Plastic shells. Every handheld released by a major gaming company and many non-major gaming companies has been a plastic handheld. From Game Boys to Vitas to PC handhelds, they are all plastic handhelds. There's a good reason too, as there are a few benefits to using plastic that make them better for the average consumer. Benefits. Plastic is always cheaper to produce. This passes savings on to the customer or has larger profit margins for the company. Plastic is lighter, making long play sessions easier and more comfortable. Due to the history of handhelds being primarily plastic, in the customer's mind, plastic is more synonymous with handhelds, retro aesthetics, and the toy/gaming mindset. Can come in a variety of colors and transparency. Whether a company does that is another thing. Texture of the plastic can vary greatly due to different treatments like laser etching. Drawbacks. Not all plastic is made equal. While every handheld I can think of is ABS plastic, there are companies that use inferior plastics or just do a bad job with the plastic. Neo, for example, has cracking issues in some handhelds, and everyone but Ambernick seems to be incapable of making a plastic hinge that doesn't break. Less durable. Plastic can crack, bend, shatter, warp, and can dent or show stress marks from the damage. Doesn't disperse heat as well as metal, meaning depending on the chip, some parts of the handheld may get hotter than others. For plastic, the main reason you'd get it is that it's often the only option available, but when given the choice between metal and plastic, plastic will always be the cheaper option. For me, this is reason enough to get it. Any money I save by going with the plastic version is then passed on to just covering the shipping for me. Plastic is also a great option for people who prefer retro vibes, a toy-like feel, or just want the lighter option. Metal shells. Very few handhelds have released with an all-metal option. Even within the emulation handheld space where companies have more freedom, all metal options are pretty uncommon. Off the top of my head, I can only think of the RG Rotate, the Brick Hammer, and the RG Nano. Benefits. More durable, of course. An all-metal shell is going to protect the inside of the handheld, and it's not going to shatter, bend, or crack like plastic would. Disperses heat better due to the entire shell effectively being a giant heat sink. This is great on the Brick Hammer since the all-winner A133P is infamous for getting very hot. People even make heat sinks for their plastic models, that's how bad it gets. More premium feel. More adult and serious aesthetic, sort of like a fancy watch. Metal will mostly be textured, usually smooth or matte. Your opinion on that may vary. Metal can come in a lot of colors, but there are drawbacks to having color options. Drawbacks. Colorful metal models will lose the color or show the silver beneath the color layer from scratches. They're pretty to start, but they won't stay pretty. RG Nano, for example, has good colors, but the color layer is paint thin. Something like the Hammer is better dyed, but still won't last forever. Specifically, anodized colored shells like those found in the Brick Hammer will lose color over time when exposed to UV light. I personally don't want a handheld that I can't bring out in the sun, but if you're like me, just one scratch with the silvery color showing might drive you up a wall. You can baby it all you want, but what was the point of buying metal if you're going to have to baby it regardless? Heavier. In the case of the Brick Hammer, the metal option is 33% heavier than the original. For the Rotate, it's less. For exact numbers, the plastic Rotate is 167 grams and the metal is 204 grams. This isn't a huge difference because the Rotate has metal in the rotating mechanism and the backplate of the screen, meaning a significant portion is still made out of metal even if you get the plastic option. Obviously, there aren't going to be any transparent options for metal. The heat dispersing nature of metal is a double-edged sword. Yes, it can work as a big heat sink, but it can make the whole shell hot and your warm hands won't help it. Costs more. The difference between metal and plastic can be as little as $10 or up to as much as $30. Overall, personally, I prefer plastic. I don't find metal to be enough of a value for me to spend that bit extra. I'm pretty careful with my stuff, but there isn't really a wrong answer here. If you're fine with paying more for more durability, then go crazy. Pick what you like. This video is more about making you aware of the differences. Thanks for watching, and thanks to members like Dragon Fanatic, AstroPixieYT, Linky, and Willie Pete. I'll see you later. Hopefully next time it's with the RG Rotate. Bye!